Ba-dum, bam, ba-dum, bam. Illuvium 0, Illuvium 0, Illuvium 0. You said you were tired of seeing leaks. Actually, nobody said that. But we're going to show you the actual game. Illuvium 0 demo is here, and we've got 3 team members that have worked on Illuvium 0. And we're going to go over all sorts of stuff you have never seen before. If you bought land, have thought about land, or have researched at all our mobile game, you're going to literally see it in action today with live gameplay, the way that it is currently built. I'm really, really excited. Before I bring in all of my expert panel of guests, here's what we're going to be going over today, my friends. We're going to be doing a showcase of Illuvium 0. You're going to see background art, videos, a live demo, and maybe bonus leaks, maybe? Who knows? And as always, the content you're seeing in this episode of Illuvium Showcase is not financial advice. Might be a part of your research. Feel free to learn, but we are not advising you to buy anything whatsoever. Got it? Good. Let's bring in our guests one by one. The Sultan of Leaks, the Lieutenant of Leaks, co-founder, Grant Warwick, of course, is in the house. Grant, how you doing, buddy?
Of course.
Here he is.
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing real good.
He's doing great. At crazy o'clock, this man's waking up on a crazy Australia time to be here to talk about Illuvium 0. His idea to share this with all of you. Thanks for joining me. But he dragged in some of his co-workers, woke them up in the middle of the night and said, get up, get in here on Illuvium Showcase, including Dmitiry. Dmitiry,
hey
Senior Art Director for Illuvium. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good.
We're so tired. We haven't slept. We didn't wake up for this, bro. Okay,
Yeah,
we've been
we
awake
can
for
just,
days. It never stops. It's always going.
Since yesterday, I remember I got stuck in the meeting and it just continues. Just still there.
I got to meet Dmitiry in person when I went to Sydney. This man goes hard. That's all I'll say about it. All right, here we go. Cantemir in the house. Cantemir is going to be on audio only. Senior modeler? Did I do that right?
Yes.
Yes. So Kane's going to be on audio for us, coming in from where are you located exactly?
Russia.
Cantemir, are you there, buddy? Ruh-roh. You might need to reconnect. We'll get Cantemir back in just a moment.
Oh, good.
But what we're going to do is we're going to go over the leaks. You guys want the leaks? You got the leaks. And if you haven't already, go to illuvium.io/land. And you can explore land, you can do your own research, and you can check out everything we're talking about on the new version 2 of the version of the Illuvidex. All right, let's talk about background art first. This is stuff that Dmitiry shared with me. And so let's go over all of these. These might be a first-time reveal on some of the background art for Illuvium 0. The first one, what region are we looking at here?
So that one is Abyssal Basin.
Abyssal Basin.
Yeah, Abyssal Basin.
Can I just do a little mini disclaimer here before we get this leak
Sure.
rolling?
Feel free.
This is still alpha, right? So it's it does improve from here still. Even though it's awesome and we're happy to share it and we've got the live game rolling, It's still an alpha. It's not the final game. We'll continue to improve things.
Okay,
exactly.
That's fair. That's fair. This is just a preview of Illuvium 0 and a preview.
I mean, it's really good.
Version. Yeah.
It's really good, but there's little things that we'll pick up on. So,
got it. Okay, so you were telling me that when you're creating assets like this, you're creating it in ultra high resolution so that players can kind of zoom in when they're playing the game. They can see the details on the map, and things can kind of remain crystal clear, if you will, when you're playing on mobile and desktop. What resolution are these backgrounds created in for all of the different regions in Illuvium 0?
That's a bit of the stupid resolution, I'd call it. Because
stupid.
It's literally it's literally the 12K.
12K.
Yeah, high res.
12,000 pixels wide.
So you can print it on a billboard, on a building, and it's still gonna be crystal clear. So.
Got it. So that's going to future-proof it. Got it.
Yeah. But then we're not using that 12K in the game. But as a backup, in any case, if any device can support it, we've got it.
Got it. All right,
into the
this is Abyssal
future.
Basin.
Yeah.
And what would you say, how would you describe this region kind of at a glance? For people that bought land in Abyssal Basin, they'll be seeing this as, or something like this as their background in Illuvium Zero. How would you describe this region for those that are not familiar with it yet?
Well, it associate to me like with the swamp, like the whole region kind of to me it feels like a big swamp. Uh, but like it maybe just me. Like Grant, what your thoughts on that?
I mean, it is a swamp, but in terms of how it links to the overworld, we can show at the end of this episode the updated Abyssal Basin. We can show Crimson Waste where we're at with it, so you can see how
Mhm.
the style correlates. Because
Really?
the idea is obviously that in each of our games, it's part of that universe, and things have to tie in. So if there's a futurist, if we made a first-person shooter in the future, the levels we don't just go off into some random realm. We stick to the style and biomes that we've created.
Got it. So Von Leekman is telling you if you stick to the end of this stream, he's got bonus leaks for you that you need to stay to the end for. That's what I took away from that. Let's take a look at some other backgrounds. This next region, what are we looking at here?
That one is Brightland Steps, or like some people call it Brightland Steepest.
No, that was Seaton.
I like to
No,
call it
Seaton has
Brightlands.
long disappeared.
So I just like stuck in my memory. I remember that and like okay, whatever. But
Brightland
that
Steppy
one was
Steps.
one of the first region that we started developing, and we kind of did a couple of tests there. So it's a bit less detailed as the others, but like still good quality and still in a good resolution.
Got it. And so this is the background everybody's going to be seeing when they play. If you own Brightland Steps region, land, this will be the background you'll see when you play Illuvium Zero if you plug in that land NFT into the mobile game. And the next one,
Then is this Crystal Shore.
Oh, the Crystal Shores people are happy right now. I can tell you that.
God, that looks
Holy
gorgeous.
shit.
This is one of my
Looks
faves,
crazy.
dude. Look at this. This is out of control. It's almost like too saturated with beautiful crystally crystals. Look at the swirling sands, the flowers. Holy man, this looks so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's
This one's all-star
And
right here.
These were created. So a little bit of backstory into the production and how we ended up in this scenario. 10 months ago, when we released that alpha video, that was just quite honestly just terrible. That was, in my eyes, the worst thing we ever shared, and it did have a lot of negative feedback on it. Like, if you're more than welcome to go back if you're watching this episode and see the feedback. Like, this isn't AAA. People were confusing, thinking that's what we were promising was the main game. And I knew at the very start, and I said this to Aaron, like, anything we do, like, it can't be mini anymore. And he goes, no, trust me, it's just going to be a small thing. And I was like, yeah, but you want it to be a small thing, but the community is going to see that and go, well, we want it to be as good as everything else. So we had to go back to the drawing board and completely rework the process to get the game to this state. And luckily, Dmitiry and I hit a point where we were working on this quite a lot, and we've got so much other stuff to do. We brought in Connor, who used to work with Dmitiry and I at Cream Electric Art, which was a high-end retouching and print advertising studio, who also was kind of like not really a junior, but like he worked under Dmitiry and I, and aside Dmitiry and I, learning what we knew about V-Ray and shader creation and forest pack, which you use to scatter the things like the crystals. And we were missing that for the promo side of Illuvium, because every single time Dmitiry and I needed to do anything promo related, we'd get dragged back off onto like shader tweaking or modeling something else. And we needed someone dedicated to promo. So having Connor on the team now kind of completes that dream team where anything print advertising related we need to do in this super high res, high fidelity state is not a problem anymore. And it shows because he's been working on these regions for the last 3 months, and it's just, we've been sitting back while he's doing everything.
Yeah.
So on these backgrounds.
Yeah, those all all those backgrounds being produced by Kona. So like at the beginning, I shared with him a couple of techniques and stuff and requirements, and then he just blasted most of them out on his own. So like I only help him with a couple of buildings, just rendered out here and there. But yeah, it was great. It was great having him. Like, and he still, he continues working on those backgrounds. So like we had a meeting today to go through all these regions once again, and already got the notes for the next updates.
Amazing. Let's take a look at some more regions, and Cantemir is going to try to rejoin us here. What region are we looking at here? It's a rhetorical question. I know the answer, but I want you to introduce it. What region is this?
Well, that is I think my probably Grant's also most favorite at the moment.
Really? Why
Crimson
is
Waste.
this your favorite? Why is
It
Crimson
just
Waste your favorite?
Feels
the
feels
buildings, it just looks unique. I think there are a lot of sci-fi city building type games and like Total Annihilation and stuff like that, and it's very futuristic moon-like. And then you have this region, which is just completely different, like dusty, and it kind of goes against what you would expect from like a clean futuristic city building type game. Building on this alien planet with giant bones and planets in the background. It's just well composed. It's nice, and you're seeing only the backgrounds. The highlight of the game is the combination of everything coming together. So, as you can see, we've tried to make the backgrounds well composed because you can see your entire land plot on the mobile game, or most of it on the mobile game. So you're going to be staring at this quite a lot. Artistically, it's got to be well composed.
Awesome. Okay, that makes sense. Let's take a look at some more regions. We have so many leaks to go through here, guys. Oh yeah, Halcyon Sea.
So cool.
Oh, it's so cool. Look at these pools of, I don't know what these are. Maybe you could say, maybe you can't, that are multicolored here. I feel like I'm in a Starburst commercial right now.
So cool. So unique.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe a Skittles commercial. Where you know the one where it rains Skittles and the Skittles go into colored pools? It looks just like that. Taste the rainbow here, guys.
We used to do that work. That's all we used to do. Stuff for Starburst and Cadbury.
Are you serious? You did Starburst like print ads?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. So tons of them. Hundreds.
People are literally going to taste the rainbow from the people that invented Taste the Rainbow. Not really, but you know what we're saying right here. And I mean, just look at this. Underwater environments with this incredibly highly saturated. The reason why it works in Halcyon Sea is that you have the very plain white backdrop kind of base color with the sand, and then you get the pop of color on top of that. It just looks absolutely amazing. Let us know in chat which one's your favorite background so far from all of these regions. Looks like Cambo's new Lambo, who just got a new Lambo, likes it. Very good. Let's take a look at some more regions. Ooh. Very, very different. Obviously, we want all of these to be unique. Which region are we looking at here, guys?
That one is Shard Bluff, but this is so like while I've been rendering, it's still rendering on the farm at the moment. So like it's not the latest update. So as we talk, it's literally on the farm rendering. So like it will be gonna share another link probably tomorrow. Yeah, very
cool.
very dark, very
it puts
hot.
It's one of the first times we've been able to show all the regions stacking up next to each other, because from the very start, the idea behind having 7 different regions, 8 realistically, if you include Sancta Mesa, was that we don't have the luxury of a 500-person dev team who can build out something like Horizon Forbidden West. So the gameplay has to be repeatable, and by having completely different biomes in the game, in Zero and the main game, it allows that replayability, because you don't just get used to the same thing every time. You're choosing where you want to go, what characters you think you want to find, and it all is interconnected. So
when you're making decisions on what to put in this background from the region versus not, Dmitiry, can you give me some insights on which elements you choose to put in the background for Illuvium 0 versus which ones you leave out? How do you decide which iconic aspects of the overworld make it here and which ones don't?
It's it's hard. Maybe like I'd say in our case, it will be. Um, I don't know. Like you just go through the library of all those crazy assets, and you want to put them all, but like you have to decide which one will shine better. I'd say the most unique kind of shape.
Got it.
Well, like this would be my criteria when I was going through the library of assets, right? But like I don't know, like some maybe Grant will choose a couple of different assets here and there, you know, and we have an option to add them in and to give a little bit more variety to the game later on. So like at the moment we are limited, let's say, to 5 plans that gonna be scattered around this region, but then nothing really stops us to add or change a couple of those.
The
That
other
makes
thing
sense.
too is
Mhm.
what you're seeing now, and then this is why it's in an alpha state, is there's got to be different variations of each background as well, long term, so that if people have multiple land plots in the same region, they're not getting the same background. We can't go to a level where we've got an infinite number of variations of background per region, but realistically, we cover 99% of the bases if we do 3 variations for each region. So what we'll do in those different backdrops is swap out different assets that we've got. But
Mhm.
it's one image at the end of the day, and you can't overload it with too much stuff because we're trying to
Yeah.
get the fundamentals of what each region is in one image, and you just have to selectively and calculate calculate which assets are going to look the most like the region's like underlying biome type.
That makes sense. And obviously, we need to have room in the center of all of this art to put the buildings and to actually have the gameplay occur. And you can't have a bunch of clutter there and a bunch of unique elements. It'll
Yep.
be confusing visually, and
Mhm.
yeah, visual clutter will occur. That totally makes sense. The same thing's the case when you look at like any other RTS map, StarCraft and what have you. Usually the details are along the cliffs and the edges and the edge of the
Mhm.
forest and the waterways. That's where you see the beautiful artistry. And then the center is just like rocks or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's just better from a practical standpoint. Oof, this next one's beautiful. Take a look, everybody. Who wants to go ice skating? What region are we looking
Pretty
at here?
cool. Tiger Boreal, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So this is I don't think this I wouldn't consider this final, but it's pretty amazing when you see the detail in the background. It's so different. It gives you an insight into what Tiger Boreal in the main game is going to look like. So pretty
A
cool.
lot of these backgrounds have just giant bones poking out of the
Mm,
ground everywhere. That's one common theme we're seeing here in all these backgrounds. So
mm.
Yep.
players, you're going to be able to discover those as you explore Illuvium Zero as well.
The Leviathan.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of detail that went into this level, but pretty crazy.
It's
Oh,
ice
let me
cold
see.
here, baby. I love it. Hey, Cantemir, can you say something? I just want to make sure you're there, buddy. We had Cantemir reconnect.
Oh, sure. I just have some
Yeah.
microphone issues. I'm here. I'm
Cantemir's
here.
back. We're gonna
Yeah,
show
yeah,
some.
I'm back.
We're gonna show some buildings in a minute in further leaks, and we'll get Cantemir's comments on that. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow, I have. Oh,
Let's see.
people are going gaga for this right now. Oopsie. People are going gaga for this land. That's amazing for
Mm.
these regions.
We
Yep.
Yeah.
we went all out. 10 months of work, and this has been for a large period of that. Cantemir was just sitting there like it's so Cantemir was introduced to me through Dmitiry because Dmitiry, while we were at Cream Electric Art, started doing freelance work, and he got a job to do a Boeing. It was a 747, yeah,
737.
a
As I
Boeing
remember.
737.
Yeah, it
A
was
nightmare, a
737.
nightmare. So basically, I feel like Cantemir is, in terms of not a design aspect, but in terms of being able to do the biggest models in the cleanliest way possible. And I've been a modeler my whole life. I've never seen anyone who can do the shit he does at the scale he does it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can give
That's-
him a giant spaceport with 4,000 doors on it, and somehow he'll do it. I'll sit there and make like a spline that represents that shape, and then he goes in and I sit there going, it's just impossible, bro. Like, and he's done it over and I want to. How do you get up?
Let's take a look at some of his work. Let's take a look at some of his work here. I've got some videos of some of the buildings in Illuvium Zero. Do you, let's take a look and get some comments here on these then.
I want to show you the hypercar he made. That was.
You want to show me a hypercar?
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Well, let me know where you post it.
Yeah.
Wow.
In the meantime,
he
I've got
made
this
the
video.
greatest model ever.
All right. Let me know if you're going to link it or if you're going to
Greatest
screen share it or whatever, and I'll pull it up so everybody can know.
Let me see here.
Screen some building kind of progression, if you will, with all the. Can you help us understand the context on this video we're watching here with the buildings, Cantemir? Can you talk us through this?
It was a crazy number of buildings, but it was so much good experience for me to model all of these buildings. All of these buildings has a few number of stages, and it was pretty funny to model them. You know, I just have a lot of fun, and I have a lot of experience.
So there is historically, right? So I started doing hard surface modeling literally 20 years ago now. And early on, there was this, I don't know, golden era of old school hard surface modeling. And it was dominated by Russian artists. You know, if there was 10 best hard surface modelers in the world, there was like 9 of them were Russian guys. And it was because they had this work ethic, right? That like no one else had, where you'd see them modeling for 2-3 days straight on old school forums and stuff like that. So when Dmitiry was like, yeah, I know a Russian modeler back in the day, I was like, oh, okay. Like I wasn't that impressed because like, you know, they're all good. They're all, but he just does shit so stupidly quick. It's like Terminator. Like he's literally like a Terminator. Like the amount of work, like, if you zoom in on these buildings, you look at the detail.
I'm looking at the detail on them. I mean, folks can see it on the stream a bit, but when you see it full screen on your screen, for those that are going to play on mobile with a high resolution screen, or you can play on desktop, the level of detail in these is absolutely dumb. I mean, we've got a number of examples here that we can show today, showing off these models in different regions.
Different regions as well. Each region was rendered with different lighting and subtle variations, which we will continue to enhance. But you'll notice that the lighting is different on the buildings in each region, which means in a 2D isometric city builder game, these are individual assets that need to be rendered, categorized, imported, set up with VFX. Do that on 35 buildings 3 times, and then factor in VFX, animation, retouching, gradients in the backgrounds, the shadows. That's what's taken the 10 months. If it was one region and we just said Illuvium Zero is just going to be one region, then we could have wrapped this up in, 6 months ago. But by doing each region and by tying it into the main game and people having that continuity, which is like key to a metaverse feeling like a metaverse, like something's got to correlate on a large scale before people get it. Like there's got to be like the chance of capturing scanning biodata in Tiger Boreal is tied to the rarity of what you might find when you enter Tiger Boreal in the main game. So we've done this work because we want people to have that underlying feeling like it's all interconnected.
Ooh, hold on a second. We're seeing something new that we have not shown anyone before. What in this video, we're seeing some sort of like atmospheric effects that are overlaid over the top here, guys.
So this is goes another level of details, right? So like we've done all those backgrounds, and then so like what else can we do to bump it up? Give a little bit more immersive, like showcase the whole beauty. And then Laura comes in and she's like, well, look at this.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she did it like real quick as well. I'm like, how do you do that?
These sand waterfalls with the little particles, they look so beautiful in the background. It just brings the environments to life. And then obviously you have the dust sort of carrying with the wind slowly across the desert here, brushing against the buildings, it just makes it all feel so real. When people buy their land, they're gonna, it doesn't feel like a retro game, like the initial gameplay we shared. This is feeling like a AAA mobile game.
It really is. That was the goal. That was
Right.
the goal. I mean, the goal I originally said to Aaron, people aren't, even if you don't want to do a AAA mobile game, and no one did, right? No one wanted it to be AAA.
Nobody wants a AAA mobile game, but they're
The
going to get one.
community, though, was going to demand it. The community was going
Right.
to see that the standard was low, and then we'd be in the exact same situation anyway. So by
Wow, look at
alleviating
this
that,
detail.
yeah, the detail is crazy.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I'm surprised. I didn't even notice that beautiful detail as I was going through these earlier. Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, it's still a mobile game. Like, we can't...
Sure.
It looks better in the actual real game, but like tying in, these same things happen in Crimson Waste in the main game. There's sandfalls, and we just tie it in.
All right, what are we looking at here? Help us understand the work that goes behind each of these features that you're going to see on your land.
That is like,
well,
all this stuff is
it's sculpted
VFX.
Originally. It's a combination of high-res sculpting, and you'll notice me sharing stuff in the character leaks over the last few months of just random landmarks and things like that in just a grayscale sculpted state. We then take those, bring those into V-Ray, set up procedural materials, render them out, apply splat maps and decal maps to those so that in the post-process we can do things like the VFX and color grade. And the last stage here is Laura going in and doing the VFX over the top so that the game doesn't feel like static. You know, it doesn't, like, there's certain limitations we have, obviously. You know, we don't want to make the game so graphically intensive that if you don't have a latest iPhone 40, you can't run it. So we've made it as AAA looking as we can, covering the largest amount of devices. That was critical.
Got it. Yeah, that compatibility makes sense, or it's really important because we want to cover all regions in the world, and a lot of people have lower-end phones around the world, especially like lower-end Android phones, and we can't have our games be prohibitively taxing on system requirements. Even more of these beautiful VFX animations. Take a look at these guys. It's a freaking mobile game. Look at all the love and like detail that's being put into this mobile game. Look at the smoldering rocks there. Very cool. I mean, this just gives tangibility to the land. This gives tangibility to, whenever somebody buys that region, they fell in love with that region, they liked the aesthetic that was there. This makes it feel a lot more real. We lost Dmitiry. He's back.
People paid so much money for this stuff, and I mean, how much is so much? But at least in my eyes, like my personal opinion, people paid a lot of money for this. It had to be a quality product. Imagine if you were one of those people, and I saw it for the last 2 years. I mean, Dmitiry and I are on the same page here. It's not just me who's saying, let's make everything look as good as possible. Like Connor, Dmitiry, myself, Laura, everyone's on the same page of making it look as good as possible. But you see the success of that land sale. That's, people are spending a lot of money on this stuff. You've got to deliver. Otherwise, they feel like they got scammed, which what happened with a lot of NFT projects. People pre-purchased, and then what they were delivered was completely underwhelming. And the rage that you see and the backlash that you see, we can't have that. So I'd really hope that we avoided any of that, and the wait was worth it.
I think the wait will be worth it. All right, perfect. So just showing off some of these animations. Look at the volcano.
So
I know.
Cool.
Look
So
at just
cool.
the way the fire kind of pulsates. The capture moves while I'm moving, but look at the way the fire pulsates through the crater there and moves around. It's so insane. Oh my goodness. This is the level of detail I was not expecting for Illuvium 0, and I knew you were revamping the art assets. I thought they would. I didn't realize we'd go to this level, but of course we did.
Of course
we did.
Yeah, we had to.
We had to.
Because, you can't be a premium product unless you do it. Like, every single thing we do into the future has to be this quality now. So things will always inherently take more time, but at no point have we ever delayed something or slowed it down because we're not good at what we do, and it's like, well, we don't know how to do it. It's like we get on meetings and go, what's it going to take to make this up to our standard, and then don't necessarily worry about the time so much. We just worry about like how people are going to perceive it in its finished state, and then hit a point where we go, all right, it's ready to go into people's hands. And now we're basically at that point where we're at a stage now where there's like one update on the Shard Bluff region rendering right now, like on the farm. Apart from that, it's all done. All the art is done for this first alpha. We can get testing. We can take a breath of fresh air, sit back and wait for the feedback, and then just get back onto it. Connor will work on those variations of the backgrounds. We will work on the mega cities backgrounds. That's another thing that we've got to factor in. The people that purchase mega cities, those land plots are interconnected, and we've got to figure out what we have to do to make that happen.
Got it. Yeah, that's
Like
a whole nother art consideration. Yeah, visually.
Wow.
Cantimir, can you give us some detail on these buildings and just the process that goes into designing all of these and putting all of these together? What's the flow like? Like what lands on your desk before you have to become the Terminator, like Grant was describing, and create and model these out?
I just want to
nothing.
Make cool
he didn't
buildings.
Have concepts.
He just does it.
We didn't have stuff. Like, we didn't have concept art for this. Aaron was like, is there any way we can do this quickly? And I was like, look, I'll give Cantimir a modular asset pack and let him go crazy. And this is what he came up with. Like, this is Cantimir. Like, there's obviously a feedback loop with Roger giving some feedback and stuff, but 90% of this stuff Cantimir has built and designed himself, which is just ludicrous.
Yeah, I just want to tell big thanks to Roger. He has greatest concept artist, by my opinion. So he helped with all of these concepts, and it was pretty fun to make it.
How long did it take you to build each building, do you think?
I think that 1 or 2 days on all stages, maybe 3 days maximum.
Dude, you are a freak. I cannot believe that. Are you serious?
He's a freak. He's a literal freak. I promise you. If I could show you the stuff this guy's done, he is a literal freak of nature.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy.
And he says it so casually.
You just like, it takes me a day or two to make one of these like gorgeous works of art. I cannot imagine that Blizzard took that long to make the Nexus in StarCraft or Tree of Ages in Warcraft 3. Like, they had to have taken weeks or months to create those assets. And you're just you're just pooping out AAA buildings like it's nothing.
He's a monster.
Wow.
I promise you, if I was going into a hard surface battle in like a fight, if this was the opening scene of Troy, right? And you've got the Boagrius guy, and we have to bring on our best modeler or the best modeler the world's ever seen or whatever. Cantimir is coming in and just stabbing the dude in the shoulder and dropping him. He's a freak of nature. I promise you that. Every time I'm like, holy shit.
Wow. Okay, we love this stuff.
You just love it. I mean, it sounds like you just get in a flow state and just go with making these. I mean, how would you pull inspiration from like existing architecture? Are you pulling inspiration from other video games? Like, where does the creative ideas come from for you? But to come up with something so unique and different like this.
I just took in my head some concept design in the games such like StarCraft or some sci-fi games too. So,
I mean, a large part of it is just winging it, right? Like, winging it, see what looks good. There was a lot of buildings that came out a little bit uninspired, and we just scrapped them. He made heaps so quickly. The good ones, Roger took them, made little modifications, but I only made 3 buildings at the start from those modular pieces, and then gave those to Cantimir and said, can you make something out of these, and he did it. It's just there's so much detail too that you can't really showcase. I wish we had more time to prep for this episode, because we could do renders like 5K of each of these buildings, and you'd see how clean and flawless each model is.
We can do those for marketing materials in the future for Illuvium 0. This is just supposed to be a preview, right? Like, we're showing everybody things that they've never seen before anyway. Not to mention we're about to get into the live demo. So don't beat yourself up over it. This is, I think, ample for today, especially when we can just show the working product, right, for everybody to check out. Let me just see if we have any more leaks, and then, oh yeah, we do. We have a couple more cool buildings kind of in progress. Can you help me understand, you know, what this is? Is this just kind of showing all the different layers that go into making a building or animation? What's up with this gushing water thing?
Oh my God. We didn't just do animation. We got Jesse to go in and do high-res Tyflow VFX for each of these, right? In the alpha we're about to show you, there's no animation on the buildings. That's coming. But like, we went to this level where we're simulating and the crazy thing about this is, and this has been fundamental to everything we've done, if it works in one game, it has to work in other games. So even though this is a mobile phone game, eventually, if Illuvium is a success, the land game may expand into Unreal Engine territory, where you're able to run around your land, because we come up with a system that recreates that land plot in Unreal Engine, and all of these buildings modeled in the same way that the assets for Illuvium are made, so that you could stand next to these in high res as real world scale, and they still stand up and hold up. So it's all interoperable from a game dev perspective. It's not like we'd have to recreate these to make them work in Unreal Engine. So that's pretty damn
how
cool.
real is what he said? Can you verify?
I just the animation just crazy. I'm really impressed by this simulation of water, and I just was happy when I saw what animation has when animation has done. So,
but in terms of how detailed these are, there's no difference between what you've done on Illuvium 0 versus, say, the spaceship you're making for the main game.
Yeah. I just tried to make all models like to use them on every area in the game. So,
like, I can confirm there is no difference, because like I had some issues opening those scenes in our one of the supercomputers, which has 1 terabyte of RAM, and it's like literally been struggling to open that. How much details did you put in? Like,
that's crazy, guys. We have a live demo that we want to show everybody. And so
Andrew,
I would love.
Like, I just linked to in link in the Discord. There is I forgot to put it up, but like it's an animation preview of some of the buildings that we done as well.
Okay,
so
sure.
Just waiting for that to be hooked up.
Sure. Yeah, let me go ahead and download that animation preview. We're doing live leaks here, friends. No problem.
Where was that 3 hours ago?
Yeah, where was it? I'll lock and load it for everybody.
Man.
Let's get some leaks. Let's get some more leaks in here.
I'm joking.
I'm just mind dead.
Yeah.
All good, dude.
There's always more leaks. There's
so many more leaks. Okay, let me just play this video full screen here and loop it, and we'll share it with everybody. All right, here we go. You guys can see my screen, right? Perfect. And let me go ahead and play this video for everybody. Ooh, high resolution.
Can you zoom in on those?
Absolutely, I can zoom in on anything. Look at the detail on this.
Yeah, there you go. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not bullshitting.
Oh my
when we
gosh.
eventually, look at this. Everything was polished.
Do you guys see the detail on this? What? Look at the little thingy down there that's manufacturing stuff.
Yeah.
We have. It's just the beginning, because the mindset of how we've approached things is future-proofing ourselves, right? Like just making sure that no matter what, if we wanted to make a RTS game, multiplayer, and we had a separate studio or whatever, like once again, if Illuvium's a success, there's no redoing stuff. If we want to, we bring the same assets that are in Illuvium into the backgrounds of Illuvium Zero. So we're already seeing the benefits of making sure that the base asset quality is interoperable with any type of game.
Look at the reflections, bro. I'm sorry. I'm kind of freaking out right now over how high quality this is.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah,
Dimitri's been grinding, rendering this stuff. Remember, guys, you don't just model these and it's done, right? It's got to go through a work in progress stage, and there might be a render, then something bugs out, then a re-render, and there might be something that fucks up all of the buildings in some way, and you've got to redo the lighting angle, and then Dimitri's got to spend another 3-4 nights going and grinding, just non-stop, monotonously rendering every single building over and over and over and over again. It was
7 times, right?
7 times. It was mind-numbingly painful, but we did it so that there wasn't that feeling of when you load the game up, you're like, well, I got scammed.
I'm not feeling scammed right now. This is exceeding my expectations, and I had high expectations.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not either. This is crazy.
This is nuts. The colors are so beautiful, too. Look at that one.
Little icons as well on the buildings.
Yes, the little icons, too. The little stairs. Like, all of it just looks so unbelievably detailed. Holy moly.
Yeah, this one was... This is just the raw animation of the buildings. On top of that, we're gonna have like some VFX by Laura, and she's already working on that. So
yeah.
Audience, are you enjoying this? Does this look good to you? Dmitiry, thanks for that bonus leak, bro. You have the Von Leekman in you, I think. Just leaking stuff on the spot. That's awesome, man.
Well, as he said the other day, he cloned me 7 years ago. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Is it flicking?
Not yet. All right, cool. Let's bring it in. Illuvium Zero. Here it is.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it works. Right. So I think it's only with the alpha helper menu, which is fine.
The helper menu screws everything up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You've got resources now, so
we didn't check. We didn't check the helper menu before the stream, and so the one thing we didn't check blew up before the stream. It's okay. So help everybody understand what you're doing. You're very quickly clicking through things. Can you walk them through your? So you're building these buildings, and what are these different buildings? Walk us through everything that's on the screen right now.
Yeah. In each region, we've got different sites. We call them sites, but it's so basically your resources that you're gonna extract from your land. So you've got the Hyperion, which looks like these crystals. You've got your Krypton Reef, which looks more like some sort of black hole. Then Solon Trench, and they all produce different sort of resources to you. So and each for each of those sites, you got to build an extractor, and this is what I've been doing. So for this one, I'm just putting the sediment extractor on top of that, and then you can initiate it.
In the actual game, though, some of these buildings will take 30 minutes to build. Some of the more powerful buildings will take a day to build. The idea behind the game wasn't that you could build up a giant megacity in a day. It was that you would do it over a period of months and then start micromanaging to get things efficient with building placement and things like that. So using the cheat codes here, we're just expediting that process. But if you click one of the sites and just go to info, you see down the bottom, there's an info button. And if you click that, some of this info is outdated and not there because it's in alpha state. But in the final game, if you go to the Nexus and click info, you'll see that Cyrus has been and Aaron have been working on the writing so that things have a creative description and people will understand what each building does. So,
got it. That makes sense. And so with each of the sites that everybody's seeing on the land itself, all of those sites, the element sites, fuel sites that are there, are going to be determined by the land that somebody's purchased. And so that aspect of it is going to be unique. So their regions and their element sites and fuel sites will be unique. And then the bonuses that people get on that land will also be unique. So that's why people are shopping for very specific plots of land, is because they'll be able to harvest that very specific element type or fuel type, depending on where it is. And when you arrive on your land, help me understand the spawn points and like where they're on the land. Grant, do you have any idea of like, is it random exactly where
It's
those
random.
element sites are on the actual plot itself? Yeah?
Yeah, it's random. Algorithmically, there are probabilities for what each tier of land can spawn, and some land sites have more Hyperion reserves, some have more Solon trenches, and if you have a land plot that is excessive in one area, you can either sell that excess that you don't need or convert it at a cost, but you'd always prefer to not convert because there's an expense to that. There's a loss of efficiency in converting. So the idea is that the open market makes it more viable if if there's an excess of one thing, it normalizes everything out. So you might be sitting on a land plot that's producing heaps of one thing, and you're just, even after converting to do the other things you need to do in the game, you've got an excess, and that's how we envisaged the kind of arc, the circular loop of the game going, where you need other people who have more of what you need, and if you've got an excess, you can distribute it to other people.
That makes sense. And that excess distribution would happen on the Illuvidex. Now,
Yes.
the animations are not here for the buildings yet, I'm seeing.
No.
And then the sort of environmental animations are not there either that we saw earlier. So we saw a preview earlier with like sort of desert sand waterfalls almost around the edges. Those have not been implemented. So this is not the final look, though the art in the background and the buildings and everything are drastically improved in terms of their quality. So what things do we have left then to implement, if you will, from what your people are seeing on the screen right now to the quote unquote final build to give you the look that satisfies you, Dmitiry and Grant?
I'd say right now we have all the buildings that make a functional game, but people are going to want cosmetic things. There are some buildings that have a cosmetic purpose, like the Illuvial statues. You can make like a holographic statue and choose which Illuvial is, in part of your wallet in the final game gets displayed. So if you're live streaming the development of your land plot or whatever, or you're taking screenshots and you've got a really high-powered Ramfire character, you can load that up onto your statue, and that's the building that Dmitiry has dropped just now.
Holographic display. Let's talk about that a little bit. So with the holographic display, I mean, we don't know will it be like one Illuvial you can display in there, a few? Are we planning on making this like a hall of fame of like all your Illuvials? Like help me understand what the vision for that would be.
Any Illuvial that you own in your wallet. So if you go into Illuvium on your computer and you capture Ramfire, you can go into Illuvium 0, it will link up and you'll be able to display that Illuvial in your holographic statue. We want to do other buildings as well. We want to do cosmetics, things like plant walls, shrubs, like just to make the city more beautiful, which is going to be, sometimes people care about that stuff more than the functionality and efficiency of certain things. Not everyone's going to take this game super seriously. Some people will, but you can even see like right now the roads are cosmetic. We did play with the idea that roads would assist in building efficiency, as in like the distance the roads have to connect to between certain buildings. We ended up not going with that because we thought it just unnaturally increased the complexity of the game and made it a little less casual. But there's always the potential to update that based on player feedback. So right now that the roads are just cosmetic, but realistically at this point, from the underlying game design, it's just cosmetic items and things like that. So you see like when Dmitiry starts dropping in the roads and things like that, you start to get a sense of like, the land plot size isn't enormous. It's actually smaller than I thought it would be, but when people are going to be purchasing multiple land plots and things like that, with each one having to be optimized a different way, I think the size ended up being, now that I've played the game, it feels really good. It feels perfect on a mobile phone. You're not having to zoom in, move, and constantly shift and jig things around to understand where things are. And I think that's like a big success. It's just the right size.
So basically with the
obviously
holographic statues then, so just to recap, anyone, if when you capture Illuvials in the overworld, the same Illuvials that you're going to be playing in Arena, you can take those NFTs, you can plug them into Illuvium 0, and you can display your NFTs here in Illuvium 0, sort of like being able to whip out, you know, like pictures in your wallet like you used to, or pictures on your phone and to show your friends. You can pull open Illuvium 0 on your phone and show people essentially a collection of your NFTs within your industrial complex on your piece of land. I want to make sure all of you guys knew that. That's one of my favorite features when I tested this, and I would love to see us build out that feature even more, because I think people are going to want to show off their NFTs. And oh, hold on a second. We just scanned. What just happened?
Got it.
We just
I got it.
we just scanned for an alluvial blueprint, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. And then you've got all the affinities.
It'll show you all of the alluvials that you've.
So now then you can build the science material labs. Just put it there.
So you just scanned and you got alluvial biodata live. And so that biodata, what can players do with that? Why is that meaningful for players to have discovered that on their land?
So far, what I've seen, like within this material lab, you can go in, you select the Illuvial, and you can build either an armor or in the weapon. So we can give it a go. It'll take
and I believe these are skins, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
They're skins, right? They're not like, you're not actually building a gun used in the main game. You're building a skin, which is where if you're playing the main game and you want an Atlas skin on Arlen, you can do it both through, you can develop that skin both through Illuvium 0 or by grinding in the main game and fusing your Illuvial with items you collect in the main game.
So this is essentially turning your land into a skin generating factory. If you discovered that biodata, you can create that. Now you should be able to create that skin over and over and over again, correct?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
I'm pretty sure. I think it's a rhetorical question. I'm pretty sure.
But obviously certain things aren't, like the skins and things like that. We're still building the skins for the game. So those things will come later, and we'll get underlying testing done on like how long it takes for you to build out a city in the alpha. There's a bunch of really fundamental things we need to learn from this alpha, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop working on Illuvium 0 artistically and by adding new things.
Got it. Yeah, everything you see right here is in an alpha state. How much do those speed up credits cost? So all the speed up costs and all the costs of everything you see in this build right now, these are all placeholders right now.
Yeah,
so this isn't like for those of you out there running a fan site or something and you're like thinking, how do I min max and blah, blah, blah. Like these numbers are not helpful numbers for you right now.
Yeah.
These are all completely placeholder. They will all be changed.
Yeah. Which is the purpose of the alpha, realistically, to get feedback on how these things actually work in the game. Yeah, right now it's a functional prototype of the game, and while people are testing that, our goal is to make sure that the end game is balanced in a way where that target of you building out a fully fleshed out land plot, it's running at max efficiency, takes a few months. We don't want it to be overnight. This game was never meant to be something that you sat there playing for 18 hours a day. It was meant to be something that you logged on, extracted things from the sites, upgraded buildings, did your little tweak and updates, and then got back on your day, or went back on with your day, or go back into Illuvium and do your thing there. It was never meant to be like you're sitting on the mobile phone game for forever.
The question in chat is, can you use cheat codes in the alpha to build faster or not? I don't think so. I think we're going to have players like actually build with regular build times, to my knowledge, to actually test all of that out and see what players do and get real data. There's no point in having you use cheat codes because then we don't get any real data on player behavior.
But maybe it'll be there and we just give that access to certain influencers or whatever, just to showcase things. But if you're in the alpha, you're not playing it so that you can make a beautiful city, because it doesn't mean anything, because that'll be wiped when the main game comes out. You're using the alpha to give us feedback on how the final game actually plays.
Got it.
I love the variation too between the buildings. Sometimes RTS games, it's very difficult to figure out where certain buildings are because they look similar. Now, even though the aesthetic is very similar between the buildings, we've made sure from a design perspective that they're all, and this is where I came back to with Cantemir building so many early. We scrapped some that kind of looked like other buildings. So you'll notice that each building, we've tried to make it look very different from the next.
Very cool. Are you able to swap the background here, or are we locked into Halcyon C?
That's what I was about to do.
Okay, cool.
So it's
well, hopefully the menu doesn't mess us up.
Okay.
There you go.
He's going slow. All right, cool. We're in a new region. It worked.
Yeah, can you show the efficiency, Dmitiry, down the bottom?
Yes.
So you've got building efficiency, and that determines the amount of the resources.
Very cool. So we're switching between regions. Obviously, these regions are not fully realized or not fully coming to life yet, right? The buildings will be moving. They will be animating. The background will be animating. Everything will have be very, it will come to life, let's say, in the final build. So you guys are seeing, I don't know, 70% the way there right now in terms of the visuals.
Yeah. I mean, I think it looks great. I think it's easy on the eyes. It's different. It doesn't, if it's got elements of StarCraft in it, it's got elements of Total Annihilation in it, it's got elements of SimCity in it, but it's unique. It feels Illuvium, which is cool. It looks better than I thought it was going to look, to be totally honest.
Agreed. Me too. You guys have done a bang-up job, and it's drastically improved. Cantemir, what are your thoughts on, when all the buildings are side by side here, all together in one mega city? What goes through your mind when designing these to have them be unique and kind of different at a glance?
Yeah, it was of the most hardest things to make the old buildings in the same design style, but make them all unique. So I just, as I said, Roger has a god of design, and he has take me the concepts, and he kept the strong design line. So I just did not these buildings without his help. So
okay, got it.
It's a shame there's no sound though. That's really bugging me, because the sound.
You're not getting sound?
No.
Like it's playing.
I've stopped streaming. I've stopped watching. I don't know if it's me doing it.
I can get the sound. I can get the sound to come
Got
through
it.
now.
It's a shame there's no sound.
Yep, I can't do the sound because somebody is playing their audio double through, so I can't do it. I'm so sorry. I wish I could. I just tried it. Double audio.
Can I not talk because I could hear myself? Can I just not talk while he does
Somebody's
that?
pulling the entire restream call through the audio that they're pumping into Discord, so I can't do it.
Let me... What?
I can hear the music. I can just hear the entire Discord call through there, so...
Like, I'm muted there.
Right, but you're capturing your desktop audio, which is also the call. So you're
Right.
capturing the call and pumping the call back into Discord.
I remember we set this up on one of those earlier streams where we went through and made it use any one but the main one. Yeah, you had to go into the Windows.
Yeah, you have to
sound
play. You
editor.
have to play your Discord audio through a different device than what you're listening on.
Yeah,
And
so
then-
go into
then it'll-
Windows. So Dmitry, go
Yep.
sound mixer options,
Yep.
and then you'll see Discord, and it will be output through default. Make that output through anything but the sound of your desktop.
I see lots of love for Blizzard games in chat. Spawn more overlords, power overwhelming. Obviously, there's a inspiration from StarCraft, of course, in the aesthetics here from, I guess we could say from Protoss, because of the more futuristic
So
look.
good.
That's fine with me. Protoss aesthetic is one of the most beautiful sci-fi aesthetics I've ever seen. If people liken the design, I mean, what do you think about that, Cantamir? People liken the designs you've created on these buildings to Protoss. Does that bother you?
Oh, shoot. I just really happy. If some of the people will tell that this buildings has the same things within StarCraft, I will be happy.
Got it.
Is it bad? Can
Yeah, I'll check it out. Give me 1 sec.
Please.
Nope, it's all feedbacking. So, all right, everybody be quiet.
Yeah.
Everybody be quiet, and I will play the audio. Nobody talk. Here we go. Nope, it's all feedbacking. So, all right, everybody be quiet.
Yeah.
Everybody be quiet, and I will play the audio. Nobody talk. Here we go. Nope, it's all feedbacking. So, all right, everybody be quiet. All right, I can't do it now because now you're feedbacking through the feedback. So, I played the music for a minute. And somebody's got the stream playing somewhere on their computer too, and so that's feedbacking through the feedback. So, all righty.
Are you watching it, Cantamir, on Discord?
No, he's
You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
where we can watch through the Chrome.
Not yet.
You're not
just
watching on Discord?
will join a call.
No, do not join the call on Discord.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Yeah.
Can I leave the call on Discord? See if it's me doing it or something? Like,
Grant and Cantamir leave the Discord call, please.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Sorry,
okay.
guys.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you were
Andrew's
on the
about to-
call. Oh, it was probably Cantamir. Okay. Okay.
So we're good now?
Okay. I don't know.
No one
We'll
knows
find out.
at this point.
We'll find out. It takes about 15 seconds of lag to find out.
Okay.
The vibes are there, guys. That's why we want to play this freaking audio for you. It's so good.
Surely by now. Yes.
Nope, can't do it. So somebody's watching the live stream on a Chrome tab on their computer and it's ruining the audio. Sorry, guys. One of you guys is 25 seconds behind watching the stream somewhere on your computer. So I can't help you with that. So we can't do audio today. But you guys got to hear the audio for just a minute. So there you go. So is there anything else we want to share for Illuvium 0?
I don't think. Well, like we were sharing the live, gameplay live. I don't think anything else left.
Awesome. I mean, this has been beautiful to see the visuals here, to see all the different kind of region backgrounds, to get insights on how all of the buildings were made, how the environment art was made, and everybody has a much better, more updated idea of how Illuvium 0 is going to look when we move into alpha. Obviously, everything isn't finished yet, and we appreciate all of you guys being patient during the technical issues, but we hope you guys see how drastically improved the visuals are and the gameplay is and the UI is, and how much hard work this team has put in to giving you guys the best possible Illuvium Zero. We're not just delivering some crappy mobile game, some crappy mini game to you guys. They're trying to make all the buildings gorgeous, the environments gorgeous, the effects gorgeous, everything unique, and something that you can be proud to pull out on your phone or on your desktop and say, that's my piece of land, and it feels great and it feels premium. Dmitiry, Grant, Cantemir, I think you guys have done a really good job so far, and we cannot wait to share more about Illuvium Zero with you guys in the future, including, of course, full gameplay clips and, of course, the alpha itself. And you guys want to know when? When it's done, that's when. It'll be done very soon. As you can see, it's very close.
Yeah.
It's extremely
It's
close. Very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't be this confident and we wouldn't be showing this stuff if it wasn't actually close. You know, if it was stupidly long away and it was going to be frustrating, we wouldn't do this. So we're very close. The dev team has worked harder than the art team, and people don't get to see that work. But the dev team has been small on Illuvium Zero. We haven't had the luxury of throwing 20 people at this game. So you're seeing a handful of people grinding away at this for such a long time now. You've got to appreciate and respect what the dev team's doing, and they have the same standards as we do artistically. It's just so many more back-end implementations, security features. It's really a nightmare at different times developing on a blockchain system, but the wait will be worth it. I think what we should do is tomorrow is just stream in the Discord, and then you can hear the sound and everything like that. Like, we've had some technical issues, but we're not afraid to show this stuff. So at any point we can just announce, I'll just announce it in the leaks channel. And for anyone interested who wants to hear it with sound, like in Discord or Twitch or whatever, we'll just do another stream, because we've obviously gotten this far. So there's no need to wait ages before showing you more stuff. So
perfect. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching Illuvium Showcase. We'll see you next week with even more leaks. Von Leakman is crazy. And thank you to my guests today, Dmitiry and Cantemir, for coming on and sharing all of this at stupid o'clock at night, showing us all those buildings, elements, sites, backgrounds. This has been great, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios, everybody. Stay tuned for more content
see you guys
on our socials.
See ya.
Bye.
See you guys.